at the finished paintwork on the brick, and as you can see, the mortar lines are there, and they're not looking bad. As I said earlier, of course, doing that, dabbing it on like that, you're going to get paint, you know, splotches on your concrete work down there, which that's got to be painted anyway. That's something that was never painted, or you know, that's kind of the factory color or the factory gray. And so, in this new episode of Resurrecting the Dinosaurs, this is Roundhouse Part 2. We're going to paint. We're going to start by painting the concrete portions that show. I'm not going to paint the concrete on the inside very far of the roundhouse, you know, where it goes into the front doors. But that concrete along the bottom edge of the brick, all the way around, and the concrete on the apron that leads up to the turntable. Like I said, that's an atlas. You know, I don't know if I'm going to keep this roundhouse for some project or something like that. But if I do, of course, I will get an atlas turntable for it. Okay, what you're going to need here in the way of materials, paint thinner, of course. Now, I've got the weathered black here for the purposes of painting the roof, if we get to that in this episode. If not, it'll be in the next episode. And I'm using Floquil aged concrete. This is a pretty good color to use. That is, if you can get it to mix. Here we are mixing. We're going to mix it. We're going to get it mixed. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to follow the same pattern I followed by doing the brickwork. You'll, of course, need your rag so that when you use the brush cleaner thinner to clean off your brush, you'll have a place to wipe the brush off. Ah, what a concept. The reason that I you know, and this is another step in making the roundhouse more realistic, and thereby making it look better. You'll also notice that these caps up on top of the edge of the walls should also be painted. I don't know if those caps were made of concrete or if they were made of some other material that would that you could, you know, fake the concrete, or if they were painted black. You know, I may use some weathered black there instead because they might just be steel caps. And then, of course, we would come up with taking and putting a little rust up there, too. Okay, very simple. I'm sure everybody knows how to do this. Everybody knows how to paint a building like that. And you begin to see why I like to use the aged concrete. By the way, it took me probably a total of about a half hour to 45 minutes to actually paint all the brickwork on the building. So if you're thinking it's going to take you a lot of time, it probably will not. Now you got to remember that the concrete on here might also add that you've got some parts of the window up here that also would be represented via concrete. Like I said, now, you know, these things are much easier to take care of pre-built. However, when I got the building, it was already built. Some of it very poorly. You run into that when you buy buildings at a train show often. Now, the advantage I have working with this here is the concrete sticks out a little bit from the brick. This concrete bottom to the roundhouse. It sticks out a little bit from the brickwork. So it makes it a little bit easier to paint the straight line up here at the top. And as you can see, you just work it in. And that begins to cover up, well, we can call it covering a multitude of sins, if you will. And there's like I said, it was pre-built, so I've got the ladder right there that's being a pain. And remember, I'm going to have to get some green paint. I'm going to have to fix those windows also. That won't be as difficult to do as it appears. These stair steps and patio thing here are all, you know, to this walk-in entrance. This walk-in door is also represented by a concrete, or supposed to be concrete, I believe. So we want it to represent concrete by painting it concrete. And as you can see, it begins to, now the building's beginning to gel a little bit, isn't it? Okay. Now, like I said, you got these window mullions up here. These the top of your windowsill. You want to get those. Now, those are going to be a little trickier than that concrete base, but it can be done. Just remember, take your time, be patient. Don't get in a hurry, because that's when you're going to end up having to redo some of your brickwork, see. That didn't turn out too bad. Looks like I missed a couple of little spots right there. Just got to work them. Like I said, just take your time. Don't be in a rush. Being in a rush will only cause you problems. Let's see, get that little bit down there. And we got this little bit right here on the entrance to on the engine entrance area of the roundhouse. And there we have that one side done. So as you can see, not a real difficult thing to do. Again, a few minutes work, people. That's all it takes to make a building a little bit more realistic. You know, a few minutes here, a few minutes there. Yes, it might add up into hours building and detailing and painting the building. But in the end, when you've got that building sitting on your railroad, it looks a whole lot better, doesn't it?